going through hard times, struggles, and adversities. See, we all go through them, guys. Nobody is perfect, especially, in this social media game. People think, life, sunshine, rainbows, right? But I've been tested many times in my business, in my faith, my relationship, right? And currently, right now, the reason I'm making this video, it's on my heart, it's on my mind, is I'm getting tested. Another trial, another valley to go through, that's going to lead to more strength, more faith, stronger, more wisdom, more maturity, right? But going through current struggles and adversity and trials with my faith and within my relationship. See, I've only been Christian for about a year and a half, coming up on 2 years eventually, here in a few months, and I've been tested in my faith a crazy amount over the last 2 years, meaning hardships, meaning trials, adversity, things to test. Are you truly about this? Are you truly following Christ? Are you truly a Christian, right? And same thing with my relationship. We've been together almost 3 years, and there's been trials where it's like, are you really committed? Are you really about this? And I'll tell you guys, that's where wisdom, that's where strength, that's where maturity comes from. Currently, right now, I'm not gonna give details, but there's some heartbreak and some, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, some challenges, some trials, right? That are going to breed more maturity and more wisdom and more strength and more faith and more love from. But they're hard, they hurt, it's heartbreaking, it's emotional, it's challenging, right? And this morning I was really, my heart was hurt emotionally, wasn't in the best place mentally, not in the best place spiritually. I felt not in a good place, so I spent about an hour and a half with God, right? Going through my Bible app, my devotional, reading Proverbs, Psalms, multiple pages in the book of Matthew that I'm studying right now, and reading the Proverbs book I'm reading right now. And right when I was finished, and I prayed for God to take my pain away in my heart. I prayed God to heal the wounds and to take away my pain, and just to give me discernment, guidance, wisdom, clarity in my thoughts, in my words, and my actions. And it's magical how He was able to take that away. It helped a lot, tremendously, right? And as I was finishing up, really before I came on this walk with you guys, I was closing the book, and it flipped to the book of James, which I actually am pretty familiar with. I took a month back in September 2022 to study the book of James, which you guys should check out in the Bible. But basically, specifically in the first chapter of the book of James in the New Testament, it talks about how you should have pure joy in the face of trials and tribulations and struggles, right? Because that is when your faith is truly tested, right? And you will grow in your faith, so you're lacking in nothing, right? Because God, right, and in the face of trials and adversities, and this is with everything, in your faith, in your business, in your relationships, just like me, specifically my faith and my relationship right now, the trials, adversity, struggles test your faith, your commitment, your relationship, whatever. And these are the moments that you will develop and mature in wisdom, so you are lacking in nothing. Because if you never have any adversity, trials, and tribulations in your faith or relationship or even your business, you might be lacking things that in the moment that you are tested, you might break, right? Because you haven't been tested, you haven't been strengthened, you haven't gotten the wisdom that comes from struggle, that come from trials and tribulations, right? And this is just another one. And this one is very cool because I've gone through, like I've mentioned, I've gone through a lot, specifically in my relationship with my woman and in my faith. And there have been times where I have somewhat failed that test, right? That I had it responded in the way with maturity and wisdom that I wish I would have. But honestly, I couldn't have, because it was required. Obviously, you could always do better, but it took those experiences to come to this moment where I'm at now getting tested with these trials and tribulations, and I'm coming and I'm reacting different. I have a different sense of wisdom and maturity. You guys got the sheep for you guys. What's up, bro? And now I'm more, I lack less. I lack less. I lack less, and I have more wisdom and maturity with it, and I'm responding much more maturely and with much more wisdom, just leaning into God a lot more, right? And that's the answer for a lot of your trials and tribulations. Read the book of James, right? In the New Testament, the book of James, check it out. The Bible app, Google, if you have a Bible, great. Check it out if you guys know what I'm talking about. But you will be tested with trials and tribulations, so you do lack nothing, right? Because without those tests, you will never get strengthened. Without those tests, you won't get more mature, gain the wisdom from those tests, and you won't know how strong your faith, how strong your relationship, how strong your commitment is to your business, whatever it may be. You won't know how strong it is until it is tested with those struggles, with those trials and tribulations, with those things. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with is these two things. Following the 10 commandments is a hard thing to do to a certain degree, right? And that's ultimately what the perfect man is, a man that follows the 10 commandments to a T, right? And then there's more to it, of course, but that's something I was, again, reflecting and meditating on this morning when I was, reading the Bible. Is, if you guys know the 10 commandments, I can't name them off the top of my head, but no sexual immorality, adultery, no stealing, no murdering, no lying, no false testimony. There's 10. Can't remember them all off the top of my head, so you can check it out in the Bible. That's my reference for you guys. Okay, that's the perfect man. That's what you strive to be like, is Christ, because Christ is the perfect man, right? He is the perfect role model and example, right? And I, especially younger, I struggled a lot with idolizing, right? Which is naturally what men do. And to a certain degree, there's nothing wrong with like role models, mentors, like looking up to men, like a physical feature, right? And you still do that. But Christ is the only perfect man. No human is perfect in any way, right? We all fall short. But Jesus is the perfect man, and he gave us 10 commandments to follow, right? And that is the perfect man. And lastly, what I'll leave you guys with is from experience, the more wisdom, the more maturity you have, specifically with being Christian in the Bible, right? The more you realize, the more I'm beginning to realize that sin does, and Satan, right? Satan and sin is here to kill, destroy, right? And destruction, right? So the more you sin, right? When you sin, your relationship with God, is hurt, right? That's what happened in Genesis between Adam and Eve, is when they sinned and ate from the tree of evil, right? The fruit of evil, the tree of knowledge, right? The fruit of evil. And, the serpent, Satan convinced her, she convinced Adam, right? Their relationship with God was spliced, was distant, was destroyed. And it's the same thing with us, with our relationship with God and Christ, is every single time you sin, your relationship with God is hurt. it's spliced, it's distant, right? And so if you continuously sin against God, that's what happens, right? And so the less you sin against God, the more, quote, perfect you get, the less you sin, the closer your relationship with God will be. And I think the more he will bless you and the more prevalent he will be in your life, right? But the more you sin, the more distant that relationship is. And it's the same thing with your relationships. It's the same thing. The less you sin with any of your relationships, the closer they will be, right? And the more you sin, the farther they will be, the more they will be split, the more they will be hurt, the more they will be distance, right? And that's kind of like what I was thinking, is like, if you cheat on your wife, right, think about how badly that would destroy your relationship, right? It's the same thing with sin with God. If you cheat against God by sinning, that's dramatically going to affect your relationship with God. He's like, you just sinned, right? It's like your wife, you just cheated on me, right? It's not going to go good, right? So you strive to sin less and less and less, so you have a closer relationship with God, and then you embody that with every other relationship and everything else in your life. Cool, guys. That's the walk and talk with you guys. Just wanted to share what's on my heart, what's going on in my mind. And I guess, a little life update is, just got back from my trip from OMAC, family reunion. It's like northern central Washington. It was a phenomenal time. For the weekend, got to drive and see a lot of Washington State. Pretty cool, see a lot of family. But come back, met some trials, some tribulations, and some struggles, specifically within my faith and my relationship. And it was on my heart and mind to share that with you guys and share some wisdom that comes from what I'm currently experiencing, and my walk with my faith in God and how I'm responding to everything in these moments. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to share that with you. God bless your soul. I believe in you. God bless you. And I'll see you guys next time. God bless. Peace. Let's go.